After being transported into a novel about a powerful female protagonist and turning the beautiful but impoverished student into the world's richest person, I gave all my company shares to the female lead, Chloe Williams, to celebrate my happy escape from that world. I only hoped she would never have to return to those days where finding food and shelter was a constant struggle. But to my surprise, she, the one who needed the money most, flatly refused. She said she just wanted to have a child with me and then live out an ordinary life. I smiled and agreed, but that very night, I faked my own death and left, becoming her first love who had died tragically young. 6 years later, the system frantically contacted me. Host, the original mission's target sent me to ask if you want to see your daughter. She's just gone into surgery. I responded calmly. I can't believe it's only been 6 years since I left that world, and Chloe already has a child with someone else. The system explained in a panic. The night you faked your death, Chloe had a dark breakdown. To maintain the world's stability, we had no choice but to give her a child created from both of your genetic material. Now she's completely lost her mind and told me to inform you that you must meet with her today, or she'll pull the plug on your daughter's ventilator. Hearing this, I immediately returned to the original world. The system pushed me into a hospital room where a 5-year-old girl was sitting on the bed. When she saw me appear out of thin air, her pale, delicate face showed only a flicker of surprise. Then, with one hand in her pocket, she authoritatively held out a bank card to me. Here's 10 million. Stay and be my dad. The little girl's proud demeanor was the spitting image of Chloe's. The system immediately explained, Host, this is the child created from your and the mission target's genetic match. Her name is Haley, and she's 6 years old. Seeing the card Haley handed me, I was surprised. You know who I am? Haley stared straight at me, her eyes holding a maturity that didn't match her age. I know you're my father. I've seen you in that person's photo album in her safe. Hearing this made my heart sink. The child wouldn't even call Chloe mom. Was their mother-daughter relationship really that bad? The system then chimed in. The mission target and the child have a very distant relationship. The child has been hospitalized for a week, and she hasn't visited once. My brow furrowed involuntarily. I thought to myself that Chloe was being far too irresponsible as a mother. Haley was her own child, after all. Haley looked at me with pleading eyes. So, will you stay and be my dad? I choked up, unsure how to answer. I knew Chloe's temperament all too well. Once, when I was kidnapped and away from her for less than 2.5 hours, she had turned the entire city of Chicago upside down. The kidnappers who took me ended up either dead or severely injured. Her love was as wild and dark as she was, to the point where she was willing to threaten her own life to force the system to give her a child. But now I had been gone, having faked my death, for a full 6 years. If I agreed to stay, I would definitely run into Chloe. I couldn't imagine what that unhinged woman would do. Seeing my silence, a flash of panic crossed Haley's eyes. Is the money not enough? If 10 million isn't enough, how about 100 million? I can write you an IOU, and when I grow up, I'll pay you back every single cent. As she spoke, Haley pulled out a piece of paper and grandly scribbled down a string of zeros. Just as she was about to hand it to me to sign, a maid burst in, dropped a bowl of medicine, snatched the IOU, and tore it to shreds before tossing it in the trash. Miss, you're being foolish. This is the 9,999th imposter who's had plastic surgery to look like Mr. Miller to trick you. Watch me tear off his disguise. With that, the maid lunged at me, trying to pull my hair. Haley, ignoring her own pain, scrambled off the bed to stand in front of me. Who said you could touch him? Do you really think I can't recognize my own father? The maid's lips trembled. But Mr. Miller passed away 6 years ago. How could this be him? Haley roared. Shut up. My father isn't dead. That person said it herself that Dad was a mission runner, that he had to be her long-lost first love, so he faked his death to trick us. I was shocked. Chloe knew I was a mission runner? She was just too sharp. I couldn't hide it when I first approached her, so I had admitted it, but I never revealed the plot details. How could she know I had to be her first love who died young? Did she know before, or did she figure it out after I faked my death? Haley glared fiercely at the maid, shielding me like a wild animal protecting its young. He is my father. I finally get to see him, so get out and don't you dare touch him. The maid was driven out of the room by Haley, and as she left, I saw her make a phone call. Haley bit her lip and secretly wiped away her tears, leaving her eyes red and puffy, which made my heart ache. Did you pull on your surgical incision? Does it hurt? Haley huffed. It was just an appendectomy. I froze. An appendectomy? Then why did Chloe make it sound so serious, even threatening to pull a ventilator plug? I thought the child was dying. The system spoke up timidly. Could it be that she threatened you like that just to trick you into coming back? Host? I nodded. It certainly sounded like something Chloe would do. Suddenly, I noticed the bowl of medicinal soup on the table. I had only taken a few steps toward it when Haley tightly grabbed the corner of my shirt. Dad, I'll write you another IOU. You can ask for any amount of money. I'll definitely get it for you. Just please don't leave me, okay? Seeing her pitiful expression, so afraid I would abandon her, my heart completely melted. I picked Haley up and placed her on the bed. I'm not leaving, and I don't want an IOU. I'm going to get your medicine. Once you drink it, your wound won't hurt anymore. Haley shook her head desperately. I'm not in pain, and I'm very diligent. I chuckled softly. If you drink your medicine, I won't leave. Haley's dark eyes instantly lit up. She took the soup from me, pinched her nose, and drank the bitter medicine down in one gulp. Then she clutched my shirt tightly. I finished it. You can't leave now. You have to stay with me. Patted her head. Okay, I'll stay with you. Haley still didn't believe me. Then you have to swear. I was exasperated. They were truly mother and daughter, both fond of this routine. I swear. I gently patted Haley's back. I swear I'll stay with you. Your wound hasn't healed yet, so you need to get lots of rest. Go to sleep. The tips of Haley's ears turned red as she tried hard to keep her eyes open, as if trying to memorize my face, but she eventually succumbed to sleepiness. I watched her, my heart softening more and more. Just then, the previously silent system suddenly issued an urgent alert. Host, the original mission's target is in trouble. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly asked, what's wrong? The next second, a large screen appeared before me. On it was the villa where Chloe and I used to live. The living room was crammed with wooden dolls. Chloe sat in the center of the room, her chiseled face as beautiful as it was 6 years ago. Her slender, bony fingers held a carving knife, meticulously adjusting the curve of a doll's earlobe. As the last sliver of wood fell to the floor, she whispered, Ethan, this is the 2090th you. I've waited for you every single day for 6 years. But why won't you come back? Was I not good enough? Is that why you were so heartless as to abandon me? Chloe's eyes were hollow. The same eyes that once burned with ambition were now filled only with despair and numbness. My heart jolted as I couldn't help but remember the first time I saw her. That year, she had been kicked out by her own parents, wearing only a thin short-sleeved shirt in the dead of winter, her body covered in bruises, walking barefoot into the ocean. Just like now, there wasn't a single spark of light in her eyes. I was the one who desperately pulled her back to shore and forced a coat over her shoulders. Her eyes were wary as she asked in a hoarse voice why I had saved her. I gave a casual reply, because I can see the future. I know you're going to become someone incredible, the kind of incredible that takes the world by storm. I wasn't exactly lying, because Chloe was the main villain in the book. As long as she survived the hardest times, she was destined to become an even more powerful figure than the heroine. Chloe was naturally suspicious, yet she chose to believe me. I then spent 3 years molding her into the ruthless madwoman everyone whispered about, one who would do anything for money and power. At the same time, I became her only vulnerability in the eyes of the world. I snapped back to reality and saw Chloe raise the carving knife, unhesitatingly slicing her fingertip and using the blood to paint the final touch on the doll's lips. She smiled. My Ethan is so handsome. It's just a shame that no matter how perfect the likeness, it's still not him. I shuddered and followed her gaze, and the blood in my veins instantly ran cold. The villa was filled with wooden dolls that looked exactly like me, so lifelike it was clear how much care and obsession the carver had poured into them. After 6 years, it seemed Chloe had become even more unhinged. The system reminded me at that moment, Host, ever since you left, the mission target has shut herself in with your dolls all day, unwilling to be apart from them for a moment. Even when she was so sick she was coughing up blood, she would rush back here overnight. I pressed my lips together as a wave of guilt washed over me. Meanwhile, a knock came from the villa's front door. Ma'am, Mrs. Davis couldn't reach you, so she asked me to pass on a message. Another man who looks like Mr. Miller has appeared at the hospital with the young miss. This time, he's completely fooled her, and she's insisting on calling him her father. I think she must be missing Mr. Miller after her surgery, and I'm a little worried she'll be tricked by this man. Perhaps you should go see her. Annoyed at the sudden interruption, Chloe frowned. She can call whoever she wants her father. If she wants to leave, she can leave. Don't disturb Ethan and me on our anniversary. Hearing this, the butler sighed helplessly and left without another word. My brow furrowed in deeper confusion. Why was Chloe's attitude toward Haley so hostile? What on earth had happened between them? Looking back at the screen, Chloe was staring down at the doll, her eyes flashing with endless pain and loneliness. I'm sorry, was I a little too loud just now? Did I scare you? Ethan, I miss you so much. When are you coming back to see me? I subconsciously held my breath, terrified she would sense me. I asked the system, Chloe seems a bit crazy, but she's still alive and kicking. You said she was in trouble. What did you mean? Before the system could answer, a streak of crimson suddenly appeared on the screen. Chloe had sliced her own wrist without hesitation, coldly watching as her blood soaked into the wooden doll. My pupils contracted violently. What is she doing? Does she have a death wish? The system spoke. It's a ritual. It said that if you drip your blood onto a doll on your wedding anniversary, the soul of your other half will possess it. She's probably trying to summon you back this way. I gritted my teeth. She's a complete lunatic. There were no servants in or around the villa now. Chloe had just sent the butler away. The cut on her wrist was deep, and if this continued, she might actually die here today. My panic grew, and my voice trembled uncontrollably. System, didn't you bring me back to stabilize the world? If a powerful villain like Chloe dies, what's the point of the book's heroine? A strong villain makes the heroine look strong. You have to think of a way to save her. Don't worry, host. I have a way. Before I could ask what it was, the framed photo on the wall crashed onto the table with a loud bang. The impact sent a first aid kit flying, and it landed heavily at Chloe's feet. It was a kit I had prepared for her a long time ago. Back then, she was always accidentally hurting herself, so I had put together a medical box with all the supplies she frequently used. Chloe froze the moment she saw the first aid kit. Her gaze shifted back to the doll in front of her, her eyes wild and obsessive. "Ethan, is that you? Have you come back?" For a long time, there was no answer. She pulled her lips into a self-mocking smile. "I really have gone insane to actually think you would possess a doll." The system reported cheerfully, "Host, the window for the summoning ritual has passed. If the mission target wants to cut her wrist and offer blood again, she'll have to wait until next year." I looked at Chloe, who had indeed dropped the knife. She knelt, picked up a roll of bandages from the kit, and began wrapping it around her wrist. I let out a breath of relief, but seeing her pale face, a pang of heartache struck me. Did she really do this, bleed herself out, every year after I left? More or less, but she never cut this deep before. For a moment there, she probably truly intended to die for you, the system added. I fell silent again, the guilt in my heart growing stronger. The system retracted the screen, and my focus returned to the hospital room. Beside me, Haley was curled into a ball, and my heart softened once more. This was really my child with Chloe, and she even looked like me. I couldn't help but smile. As the sun began to set, Haley suddenly woke with a start. Seeing her pale face, I gently wiped the cold sweat from her forehead. "Did you have a nightmare?" When she saw me, her eyes instantly turned red. "Dad, it really is you. You really came back, and you didn't leave. You don't know. I just dreamed that the crazy woman killed all those people who looked like you." Haley trembled all over, gritting her teeth. "That person isn't just crazy. She's blind too. She might not be able to recognize you like I can. She might kill you just like she did the others." Whenever Chloe was mentioned, Haley's face filled with disgust and resistance. I truly didn't understand. Haley should have been raised by Chloe, so how could their relationship be this terrible? I was about to ask when Haley jumped off the bed and looked at me with a serious expression. "Dad, she's sick in the head. I know you must have left because you hate her too, but I'm normal, so why don't you take me with you? I can earn money, and I can do chores." As she finished speaking, Haley pulled several bank cards from her backpack and stuffed them all into my hand. "The money in these cards adds up to 10 million. It's not a lot, but I'll work hard to earn more in the future and support you for the rest of your life." Holding the bank cards, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Haley, why do you hate your mother so much?" Haley didn't answer. Instead, her small, warm hand took mine, and her voice softened. "Can I answer that question after we've left?" Looking at her pleading gaze, my heart completely melted. "Okay, I promise. Let's go." A flash of joy appeared in Haley's eyes. She took my hand and, as we walked out, she reassured me, "Don't worry, Dad. I'll help you escape, and I'll protect you forever." Before she could finish her sentence, a sudden figure blocked Haley's path. The moment I saw who it was, my expression changed completely. The woman stared straight at me, a slight smile playing on her lips. "Ethan, you'd rather run away with her than stay for me. Are you that eager to abandon me a second time?" Chloe was much thinner. Her gaze swept coolly over Haley before landing on my face. "Can we talk?" Haley flinched under her gaze but still stood her ground in front of me. "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. I'm warning you, don't you dare hurt him." I guiltily avoided Chloe's eyes. To be fair, both in the past and now, Chloe had always been true to me. It was I who had let her down time and time again. The thought made me feel even more ashamed. The atmosphere grew tense. The system suddenly appeared, nudging me. "Host, headquarters just sent a message. As long as the mission target's emotions stabilize, your mission will be complete." This conversation could be a great opportunity. I nodded in agreement and finally looked at Chloe. "Okay, let's talk." Haley grabbed my shirt, her expression full of worry. "Dad, don't go." I patted her head reassuringly. "Don't worry, I'll be fine." Hearing that, Haley slowly let go of my shirt but continued to stare anxiously at my back as I walked away. I glanced back and gave her a reassuring look. Chloe suddenly spoke, her tone dripping with jealousy. "You care a lot about that child?" I found her question odd. "Haley is our child. How could I not care about her?" Chloe let out a self-deprecating laugh. "So you'd rather believe her and leave with her than come to see me, is that it? Ethan, do you have any idea that I've waited 6 whole years for you? How can your heart be so cruel?" Hearing the tremble in her hoarse voice, my heart felt as if it were being crushed by a heavy stone. "I'm the one who wronged you." Chloe squeezed my hand, her grip tightening. "Ethan, that's not what I want to hear." She suddenly quickened her pace, dragging me into an empty hospital room and pinning me against the wall with an undeniable force. I had a bad feeling and instinctively tried to push her away. Chloe grabbed me, leaned in close to my ear, and her self-mocking voice was laced with inextinguishable anger. "You really want to leave me that badly, don't you?" The next second, Chloe's lips pressed against mine without warning. I snapped back to my senses and shoved her away. The sudden movement seemed to bring her back, and when she saw the 2 red marks her grip had left on my wrists, her sanity fully returned. A flicker of guilt crossed Chloe's eyes. "I'm sorry. I'll go get you some ointment." I stopped her, It'll fade on its own. Chloe, what did you want to talk to me about? Chloe didn't answer, but she still went and got the ointment. She helped me sit down in a chair, then knelt in front of me, silently applying the medicine. I pressed my lips together as I noticed her suit jacket's cuff was slightly rolled up, revealing the shocking scar on her wrist. The bandage that should have been there had been removed at some point. I grabbed her wrist. Chloe's eyes flickered, and she immediately pulled her sleeve down. It's nothing, just an accidental cut. Hearing her nonchalant tone, I was suddenly furious. Chloe, do you have any regard for yourself at all? Chloe didn't expect me to get so angry. She froze for a moment, then let out a soft laugh. Ethan, are you worried about me? I retorted. What do you think? Just because I'm not around, you can't learn to take care of yourself. I was scolding her angrily, but I froze the moment our eyes met. Chloe's eyes were red, but a smile touched her lips. You left so mercilessly back then. I thought you'd never feel sorry for me. Her words caught in my throat.
Finally, he sighed.
I never said I didn't feel sorry for you. With that, I got up, found a bandage in the room, and rewrapped her wound. Afraid she would just take it off again, I tied it with 2 knots. Don't take this off, do you hear me? Chloe lowered her head and murmured, I know, I have something for you. She took a bracelet from her pocket and put it on my wrist. This should be very important to you. The day you left, you accidentally dropped it into the ocean. I found it and have kept it with me ever since. It's been waiting with me for you for 6 years. I lifted my hand and stared, completely stunned. This was my mother's bracelet from my real world. 6 years ago, on the day I faked my death, the system told me to throw a suitcase into the ocean to stage a suicide. I was in such a rush that I accidentally packed the bracelet in the suitcase. When I returned to my world and realized it was gone, I was heartbroken for a long time. I never thought I would see this bracelet in my hands again. I had never told Chloe how important this bracelet was to me, yet she had somehow sensed it. Seeing my astonishment, Chloe lowered her eyes and smiled faintly. You abandoned me for 6 years, and yet I can't bring myself to hate you at all. Even knowing that all your kindness was just part of your mission, I still fell for you completely. After she spoke, Chloe closed her eyes, and 2 clear streams of tears rolled down her cheeks. Ethan, am I a fool? In less than 2 years after graduating college, she had used her own skills and methods to transform from an overlooked child of the Williams family into the formidable CEO Chloe Williams, a woman everyone feared. An uncontrollable, sharp pain spread through my chest. She clearly had all the money and power in the world, and everyone envied her success. Yet here she was, begging me for a little bit of worthless affection. I unconsciously raised my hand and wiped away her tears. Chloe, you really are a fool. It must have been so hard for you these past 6 years. Chloe turned her head away. I don't want to hear your apologies. She paused, then finally looked at me, her eyes shimmering. Can you stay here with me? I fell silent again. The system had promised to send me back to my world with endless wealth once the mission was complete. So, in the beginning, every kind act toward Chloe was indeed just part of the mission. Even after I genuinely developed feelings, I didn't stay. After all, people change. Who could guarantee that years from now, Chloe would still love me as she did then? When it came to money, I trusted what was in my own hands more. Before I could speak, a loud shout came from outside the hospital room. I won't let you stay with her. The door was thrown open, and Haley stumbled in, pointing at Chloe and yelling, Don't think I don't know what you're planning. Besides, he's my dad. Why should he stay with you? He should be leaving with me. Chloe's brow furrowed as she sneered. He's my husband. Why should he leave with you? Haley sneered right back. He didn't want you 6 years ago. Those words struck Chloe like a knife. A cold storm brewed in her dark eyes. Say that again. Seeing things were about to get ugly, I clamped my hand over Haley's mouth and snapped, That's enough. Both of you, be quiet. I separated them and let them cool down for a while before the tense atmosphere in the room finally dissipated. I blew on my tea, took a small sip, and caught Haley sneaking glances at me out of the corner of my eye. All right, tell me, why do you hate your mom so much? Haley gritted her teeth. Dad, don't be fooled by how she's acting now. She hates you and she hates me. I heard her with my own ears say she hates your face, and she choked me, saying that because I'm related to you by blood, she'll kill me sooner or later. She'll kill you too one day. Every word Haley said struck my heart like a hammer, sending a chill through me. I knew Chloe was emotionally unstable, but I never imagined she would be crazy enough to want to kill her own child. Chloe let out a cold laugh. Haley Miller, I think you've become addicted to lying. When did I ever say those things? Haley immediately shot back. Everything I said is the truth. Does the truth also include you putting nails in my shoes and mixing antibiotics into your wine? I was about to have a heart attack from their conversation. I urgently called the system. System, quick, call a psychiatric hospital for me. We need to get both of them admitted. The system came online, quickly checked its files, and then explained, Host, it's actually all a misunderstanding. From the system's account, I finally learned the truth. Everyone in their social circle knew Chloe loved me to the bone. After my death 6 years ago, countless men had plastic surgery to look like me and tried to get close to her. Chloe, who was already unwell, was driven to a nervous breakdown by these imposters. Eventually, she couldn't take it anymore and had them all rounded up and sent to work in mines in Africa. She had said that if anyone else with a face like mine approached her, she couldn't guarantee she wouldn't do something extreme. But to 3-year-old Haley's ears, those words were twisted. She misunderstood and thought Chloe hated me so much she wanted to kill me. Believing Chloe had driven me away, Haley put nails in her mother's shoes for revenge. Unfortunately, Chloe caught her in the act, and Haley got a harsh spanking. Still not giving up, Haley escalated things the second time by putting antibiotics in Chloe's wine, and was caught again. Chloe, furious, had grabbed Haley by the collar and yelled, "If it weren't for the fact that you share your father's blood, I would have killed you already." Haley, struggling to breathe, only heard fragments of the sentence, and the words became twisted in her mind once more. And so, this misunderstanding had lasted for 6 long years. I repeated the system's explanation to both of them, and they both fell silent. So it was all just a misunderstanding. Do you get it now? They both gave an awkward "oh." I was speechless and had no desire to talk to these 2 lunatics any longer, so I turned to leave. I was immediately stopped by a hand on each side. Haley spoke up quickly, "But no matter what, I'm the one who's related to Dad by blood, so he should be with me." Chloe retorted, "I met him first. He should be with me." Seeing they were about to start fighting again, I quickly intervened. "We can talk about this later. I'm hungry." At that, Chloe immediately had her secretary arrange for a table at the nearest restaurant. At the dinner table, Chloe kept putting food on my plate. "Ethan, you've gotten so much thinner over the past 6 years. This is delicious, you should eat more." Haley stood beside me, diligently pouring me drinks. I stared at the more than 20 different beverages crowded onto the table, not knowing where to start. Chloe shot Haley a look and started piling food onto my plate even faster. Not to be outdone, Haley began pouring drinks with increasing speed. I put down my chopsticks and, exasperated, shooed the mother-daughter duo out of the private room. "If you two have so much energy, go run a few laps outside." Seeing I was displeased, the big one and the little one lowered their heads and left without another word. The room was finally quiet. I had just put a bite of food in my mouth when the system chimed in again. "Host, are you there? I have some news for you, though I'm not sure if it's good or bad." I grunted in acknowledgement. I ran a calculation. The mission target's emotional state has stabilized for now, but if you leave, she's likely to have another breakdown. "So," my hand holding the chopsticks paused. "So you want me to stay?" "Correct." I sighed and voiced my biggest concern. "If I stay in this world, and in the future Chloe's feelings change, and I regret my decision, will I still have a way to leave then?" This time, it was the system's turn to be silent. The silence was its own answer. I shook my head, my appetite suddenly gone. It wasn't that I didn't trust Chloe. I had just seen too many examples of how easily people's hearts can change. Before I could say anything, the sky outside the window suddenly exploded with a bang. I walked to the window and saw a beautiful firework burst against the dark sky. Haley, showing a rare flash of childishness, was standing downstairs waving at me. "Dad, come set off fireworks with us." The door to the room opened softly, and Chloe walked in, taking my hand. "Let's go. She and I have a surprise for you." Before I could react, Chloe had led me downstairs. Haley found an open space, pulled out a long fuse and handed me a match. "Dad, you do it." Chloe looked at me and nodded with a smile. I took the match, lit the fuse and ran back a few steps with them. A firework shot into the sky and exploded into a giant, beautiful heart. An unconscious smile spread across my face. When I came to my senses, I saw that Chloe was smiling unconsciously too. I felt a little dazed. The last time I had seen her smile so happily was on our wedding night, when she held me and whispered with a smile, "This is so nice. I have a family again." By the time I snapped out of it again, Chloe was already dabbing at the tears on my face with a tissue. "Why are you crying?" Haley came closer and hugged my arm, her voice full of concern. "Dad, were you moved by my surprise?" "Don't cry. It makes my heart ache." Chloe gently pushed her aside. "Get lost. Your dad was moved by me." Haley frowned. "I designed the firework pattern." Chloe glanced at her. "I paid for it." Haley was infuriated by her words. "You think you're so great just because you have money? I'll earn more than you in the future." I sighed and ruffled Haley's hair, then gently touched Chloe's cheek. "All right, stop fighting. I was moved by both of you." Haley glanced at Chloe, then turned her head away with a huff. Chloe ignored her and focused on wiping away my tears. Although the two of them were still as volatile as ever, I could feel that their relationship had softened, and that was good enough for now. That evening, I went back to their new home with them. Chloe explained, a bit sheepishly, that the old villa was filled with some things and wasn't really suitable for living in. I twitched my lips. I knew perfectly well that the things she was referring to were that pile of wooden dolls. This new villa was one Chloe had bought after I left 6 years ago. Although it was a new house, all the furnishings inside were identical to the old villa. I didn't know if it was because Chloe was sentimental, or if she was trying to trick herself into believing I was still with her. The room with the best view in the villa had been left empty. Chloe spoke softly. "This was saved especially for you. The decor is in your favorite style, because I had a feeling you would come back." Hearing that made my heart ache. "Thank you for waiting for me for so long." Before bed, Chloe and Haley both insisted on sleeping with me. Out of guilt, I reluctantly agreed. Lying between them in the middle of the night, I tossed and turned, my heart feeling like it was soaking in honey, yet desperately trying to break free. This was a kind of warmth I had never experienced before, which made me crave it immensely, but the more I felt it, the more terrified I became. I wrestled with my thoughts for a long time before finally calling out to the system in anguish. System, take me away. Host, are you absolutely sure? I nodded, then got up and stepped onto the windowsill. It was the 5th floor. A fall from here would either kill me or leave me in a vegetative state. As long as my physical body in this world was destroyed, no matter how crazy Chloe was, she would have to accept the reality. For the first time, I heard a flicker of emotion in the system's mechanical voice. Host, you are very clear-headed. In that case, I respect your choice. Thank you. I smiled and spread my arms, about to lean forward, when I suddenly felt a cold sensation on my calf. I turned back in shock to see Chloe holding onto my leg, letting out a soft laugh. Ethan, this is the 3rd time. Chloe pulled me down and dragged me into another room, one without any windows. Seeing the disappointment in her eyes, I pressed my lips together, not knowing how to explain myself. After a long moment, Chloe suddenly spoke. I know. You're afraid that the future me will disappoint you. You're afraid that you'll give up everything in your other world to stay with me, only to end up regretting it, right? I nodded slowly. Unexpectedly, Chloe didn't fly into a rage. Instead, she took my hand and said softly, "That's easy to solve. Why don't I just go with you to your world?" I looked up in surprise. Chloe continued on her own. I can guess that this system of yours has probably given you more money than you could spend in several lifetimes, so supporting me shouldn't be a problem. Of course, you can bring that little brat along too if you want. If you're willing to let me start a business, I'll deliver impressive results for you. I'm confident in my abilities. If you don't want me to start a business because you're afraid I'll change if I get rich, then I'll just stay by your side and take care of you every day. The hand holding mine was trembling slightly as she looked at me with pleading eyes. So, please don't abandon me, okay? This was a development I had not anticipated. What surprised me even more was that the system actually agreed. No problem. Headquarters said that as long as the mission target's emotions are stable, it doesn't matter which world she's in. Since you're going to support them, I'll apply for a double bonus for you. As long as you don't let her go crazy again. Host, anything is possible. I collected myself, looked at the pitifully sad Chloe in front of me, and gave a small nod. The next day, when Haley heard she could leave with me, she was so happy she jumped for joy. Chloe frowned and said to me half-jokingly, "How about we don't bring this girl? She's annoying to look at." Haley was furious. "You Williams, say that again?" Seeing that they were about to start bickering again, I quickly stopped them. "All right, go pack your own things, quickly. If we're late, I'm not taking either of you." At that, they both quieted down and rushed off to pack their bags. I crossed my arms, a smile unconsciously forming on my lips. It seemed that completely resolving their mother-daughter conflict was still a long way off, but thankfully, there was still time for everything.